There is a video that went viral on social media about the woman that came from the country that does not exist on earth. The country is called Torenza, but Torenza does not exist in any world map. And then we have exactly story that occurred in 1954 about the man that came from the country called Taured, but the country Taured does not exist in any world map. In 1954, a mysterious man arrived at Tokyo airport with a passport from a country called Taured, a nation that does not exist in a world map. Authorities were baffled. He was detained for caution, placed in a guided hotel room, and by morning he vanished without a trace. No passport, no man, no answer. Before we proceed, please subscribe to our channel, that is Guido24 TV, and hit the button bells. A woman appeared at the New York airport, that is JFK, holding a passport from a non-existent country in any world map. This woman flew from Tokyo to JFK airport with a passport, starting a country that no one had ever heard of, Torenza. But the problem is, there is no such a place on the world map called Torenza, and her passport is particularly genuine with a biological chip, an anti-counterfeit hologram, and even dozens of entry stamps from the country that does not exist. Even custom experts say this passport is even more genuine than real. Her passport is genuine. When the staff told her that Torenza does not exist in any world map, she was completely stunned and then whispered, "This is not my world." She also asked, "Is this America?" Then the staff said, "Yes, this is America." She said, "This is not my world." Later, she was taken to the isolation room and monitored throughout the entire process. But a few hours later, she disappeared in front of camera like snowflake, gradually fading out of the screen. Everyone is asking, who exactly is she? Is she a scammer or a traveler from a parallel world? Do you think she really traveled through time? And then we have exactly story that occurred in 1954 about the man that came from the country called Taured, but the country does not exist in our world map. In July 1954, a traveler arrived in Tokyo on a routine business flight. He looked European-ish, wore a neatly tailored suit, and seemed completely at ease with his traveling experience until Japanese custom officer flashed his passport. His passport said it was from a country called Taured, but that country Taured does not exist in the world map. That means it does not exist on earth. The document, but the passport and the document look genuine. His passport is perfect, more perfect. It even had stamps from previous travels, including from Japan. He even had officially looking currency from various European countries and a checkbook from a bank no one could find in any directory. When officially asked him to point out Taured on a map, he placed his finger on border between France and Spain, right where Andorra is, but he did not recognize Andorra. He said he had never even heard of Andorra in his life. His country, Taured, he insisted had been there for over 1,000 years. The man from Taured, sometimes referred to as the Taured mystery or the man without a country, is an urban legend about a man who arrived at Japanese airport from an unheard of country called Taured. Some have explained the story as proof of time travel, while others have spoke of a parallel universe. But could there possibly be a simpler explanation? Many people have claimed this story to be true, so the crux of the problem pertains to Taured. In case you are wondering, there is no country by the name of Taured either today or during the 1950s centuries. The purport timed when the incident took place. The story ends with the man disappearing forever a day after arriving in Japan. Moreover, all of his personal documents such as his passport and driving license also currently disappear, thus making the strange mystery even more difficult to resolve. The story of the man from Taured began quite specifically in many sources with a hot day in July 1954. On that On that particular day, a man was said to have arrived at Haneda Airport, known also as Tokyo International Airport. This man has been described as Caucasian with beard, whilst his primary language is said to have been French. Accounts claim that he spoke Japanese and many other languages as well. So far, there is nothing unusual to it in the narrative. The sequence of events then differ according to which version of the story one encounters. In one account, when the man handed over his passport to be stamped, the Japanese immigration officer noticed something strange. Well, the passport looked authentic and the passport is genuine. The country where it was issued, Taured, was recognized as non-existent by both the officer and his colleagues. The man from Taured was therefore taken away for interrogation. In another version, the man mentioned that he was from Taured country, and when the immigration officer did not believe him, he showed his passport. He showed his passport. The story of the man trying to convince the immigration officer that Taured does indeed exist in our world. According to Traveler, Taured was located between France and Spain and had been existent for 1,000 years. When shown a map, the man from Taured pointed to the area occupied by the Principality of Andorra and was puzzled as to why his country had been given a different name on the map. Both sides refused to give in. The Japanese officer insisted that Taured does not exist and Taured is not a country, and the traveler argued otherwise. Eventually, the man was held by officers as they were suspicious that there may be some kind of criminal. While they conducted their investigation, they put him up at a nearby hotel for night to ensure that the man did not escape. 2 guards were placed outside his room. The next morning, however, when the officers went to the man's rooms, they realized that he had vanished. There was no sign of how he had made his escape, and all of his personal documents, such as passport, driver's license, and his documents, which could have served as evidence for the story validity, had apparently disappeared as well. Many, including wannan abin ya gagaru matuƙar ɗaurewa al'umma kai a yadda irin wannan shi mutumin wanda ya bayyana akan cewa ya fito daga Taured ɗin ya ɓata, wanda haka ne gagarumin jefa dubbanin al'umma a cikin wani yanayi inda suke ganin cewa ta hakan zai zama da gaske, inda wasu kuma suke ganin cewa kamar fara rahoton kwata-kwata ma kirkirarsa aka yi, wanda suna ganin cewa kamar labarin kawai kamar kanzon ƙurege ne. Is there any truth to the man from Taured story? According to Synopsis, this popular tale of the man from Taured said to have visited Japan from a parallel universe is actually a greatly embellished and fantastically version of a far less sensational real story. The origin of these outlandish tales seem to have been inspired by true account of John Allen Kutsar-Zekrus, aka the mystery man, who was arrested and prosecuted in Tokyo after having presented a fake passport to enter Japan in 1959. This forged passport stated it had been issued in Taurenza, supposedly the capital of the state of Taured, and was written in an unknown language. Well, Taurenza is actually the name of real-life province and city in modern-day Algeria. Tuareg with AG is a Berber ethnic group from the Sahara region. This whole case came up during a 1960s century debate about frontier formalities which took place at the House of Commons in the United Kingdom as an example of how passports were prone to forgery. The fraudster John Allen Kutsar-Zekrus had managed to invent a country, its capital, its language, and even created a fake passport. He then used it to travel throughout the Middle East before being caught lying by efficient Japanese. In the end, Zekrus was sentenced to a year in prison, but this was due mostly to the forged check he had cashed in Japan. His ultimate fate is unknown. Wayannan dai suna ɗaya daga cikin kaɗan daga cikin irin misalan abubuwan da suka faru da ita wannan matar ta zo daga ƙasar na Torenza. This is some exactly story that exactly match with the woman passport that come from the country that does not exist in our world map, that is Torenza. And then Taured is the man that came from another country, but the country still does not exist in any world map. Wayannan dai su ne irin misalai da suke faruwa a kana a kafafen sada zumunta. Kun dai ji wato na wanda ya zo daga Taured, sannan kuma kun dai ji ita na wannan bayar Allah mai suna Turanza, kamar da ta fito daga kasar da kwata-kwata babu shi a wannan map din gidan duniya. Wayanda wayannan rahotanni har yanzu dai su ne dai suke ci gaba da ƙara yawo a kafafen sada zumunta akan irin abubuwan da suke ci gaba da ƙara wakana tsakanin wannan mata wanda har yanzu an kagar tantance wace ce ita, kuma sannan ina ne asalin kasar tasu da ta bayyana kan cewa kasar su Torenza ne. Da wasu sun gazganta labarin, wasu kuma suna ganin kamar labarin akwai abin dubawa a ciki.